When Lil Durk's affiliates provoked NBA Youngboy in New Orleans, the entire city shook. 4KT pulled up heavy, cops moved like soldiers, and tension snapped in seconds. By the time sirens filled the air, 40 bodies were down. But the real question is, who lit the first fuse that turned NOLA into chaos? New Orleans lockdown, when police had to save Youngboy brewing nemesis.
Nervous as hell, I ain't gonna lie. Youngboy one of them ones. He put that fear in your heart for real.
That's right. Everyone knows that the fear of Youngboy is the beginning of wisdom. So it was surprising when words on the street was that Lil Durk's affiliates made a move at NBA Youngboy. As expected, in the end, it led to the intervention from the police, which in turn might just have turned unexpectedly bloody. But hold up, let's recap what's been happening these past few days following the rapper's tour and how the chaos was inevitable. Man, October 19th, 2025 was supposed to be a celebration, you feel me? NBA Youngboy finally made it back to Louisiana for his first home state performance in 7 years, pulling up to the Smoothie King Center with that Make America Slime Again tour. The venue was packed, 17,000 deep, all there to see the young legend do his thing. But what happened after the show? That's when things got wild in ways nobody expected. So check it. Around 1 in the morning on October 20th, Youngboy decided he wasn't ready to call it a night. The man stepped out onto the streets of downtown New Orleans with just a small crew. No heavy security detail, nothing. Just him and a couple of homies thinking they could take a casual stroll through the city. Now, if you know anything about NBA Youngboy's fan base, you already know that was never gonna work out smooth. The second people recognized him near Canal and Bourbon Streets, it was over. Fans came from everywhere, pouring out of bars and restaurants, screaming his name, trying to get close to him. We talking hundreds of people creating this massive mob scene that had traffic completely blocked off. Cops moved like soldiers, and tension snapped in. The crowd pressed in from all sides, and what started as love quickly turned into potential danger because of how dense that swarm got. Youngboy, being Youngboy, was actually enjoying it at first. Man was laughing, waving at everybody, soaking in that pure adoration from his people. He even said he ain't trying to go, like he wanted to stay out there with the fans all night. But reality check, when you got that many people pushing and shoving, trying to touch you, get pictures, grab at you, things can turn sideways real quick. Bourbon Street was already popping with the regular nightlife crowd, so now you add this unexpected celebrity sighting, chaos. Straight chaos. That's when New Orleans Police Department had to step in heavy. See, NOPD wasn't playing no games with this tour stop because they already had intel about potential issues. They deployed over 400 additional officers across the city, specifically for Youngboy's shows, knowing his beef with Lil Durk and the OTF crew could bring drama. So when they saw this mob forming around him, officers on patrol responded immediately. What happened next was something straight out of a movie, real talk. Videos from the scene show about 4 to 6 NOPD officers literally grabbing NBA Youngboy from every angle, lifting him up by his arms and torso, creating a human shield around him while they pushed and pulled him backward through the crowd toward a waiting SUV. The escort wasn't aggressive or rough, more like a firm but protective carry to get him out of there without anybody getting hurt. Officers were hoisting him shoulder to shoulder, moving through the mass of bodies while fans kept chanting his name, reaching out, phones everywhere, recording the whole thing. Youngboy was still grinning and waving during the whole ordeal, turning what could have been a dangerous stampede into this surreal moment where he getting carried away like royalty. The intervention lasted about 1 to 2 minutes, but it was enough to disperse the crowd safely and get him into that vehicle without any injuries, arrests, or criminal activity going down. NOPD put out a statement afterward, clarifying the situation. There was no criminal incident and no arrest involving NBA Youngboy. After the artist briefly moved on foot near the intersection of Canal and Bourbon Streets, a crowd converged. They wanted to make it clear this wasn't about him being in trouble. It was about public safety and crowd control. That response prevented what could have turned into a whole different situation. You know what I'm saying? Traffic shutdowns, escalating into bigger public safety hazards, people getting trampled, opportunistic incidents popping off in the middle of all that Bourbon Street revelry. The department's quick action kept it from spiraling out of control. The second show on October 20th went down as scheduled, without any similar post-concert drama, which showed NOPD security measures were effective. But that viral moment on Bourbon Street, social media went absolutely crazy with it. Videos racked up millions of views. Memes started flying about the Michael Jackson level love he was getting from his supporters. People were joking about how NBA Youngboy got so much love in his city that police had to physically carry him away from his own fans. That's the kind of connection he got with Louisiana, man. 7 years away, and he still can cause that kind of response just by walking down the street. But real talk, this incident highlighted something important about Youngboy's whole situation. His star power is undeniable. His fans will literally swarm streets to get near him, but it also showed why artists at his level need robust security teams when they're moving around in public. He stepped out there without that proper protection thinking it's all love, and while it was all love, love can get dangerous when it's that many people in a confined space pushing to get close. No shots fired, no violence, no arrests, just pure chaos from excitement. That's actually a win when you think about the alternative scenarios that could have played out. For his part, Youngboy seemed to enjoy the whole experience despite the chaos. He was laughing and engaging with fans even as cops were pulling him away, which just made people love him more. That's his brand though, staying connected to the streets, staying real with his supporters even when it gets overwhelming. The incident became a testament to his bond with Louisiana, and why bringing that tour home after 7 years meant so much to both him and his fans. They weren't gonna let him just perform and disappear. They wanted to be in his presence, touch him, show him that love in person.
With all due respect to every other rapper, Youngboy's the king of rap right now. I'm sorry to tell y'all. The walk down I seen in Atlanta tonight, give him the throne. Just give him the throne. Youngboy the king of rap. I'm sorry to tell y'all. Hey, listen, I'm not saying gonna last forever.
That's powerful, man, even if it required police intervention to keep everyone safe. Security nightmare, how the Durk beef turned Youngboy's tour into a police state. Now let's talk about why them 400 officers were even there in the first place, because that Bourbon Street situation was just one piece of a much bigger security puzzle. NBA Youngboy's Make America Slime Again tour became one of the most heavily secured concert series in recent hip-hop history, and it's all because of his beef with Lil Durk. We talking about canceled shows, violence threats, extra police everywhere, and fans getting caught in the crossfire of a rivalry that been simmering since 2019. This tour was supposed to be Youngboy's triumphant return after years of legal troubles and house arrest, but instead, it turned into a traveling security crisis. The whole beef between NBA Youngboy and Lil Durk goes way back, and it's not just rap beef, it's street beef tied to real gang affiliations. Youngboy reps Never Broke Again, also known as 4KT out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Durk leads Only the Family, OTF, connected to Chicago's Black Disciples and the O-Block crew. The tension started bubbling in 2019 when King Von, Durk's protege and close friend, started unprovoked social media attacks on Youngboy and his artist Quando Rondo. Von was clowning them on Instagram, calling them fake, dissing their street credibility. At first it seemed like typical rap rivalry stuff, but then November 6th, 2020 happened. That's the night everything changed. King Von got killed outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta during a fight with Quando Rondo's crew. Surveillance footage showed Von, who was armed, charging at Rondo's people after a verbal dispute escalated. Timothy Lul Tim Leaks, one of Rondo's affiliates and an NBA crew member, fired shots that killed Von and wounded 2 others. Leaks claimed self-defense and walked free after a couple weeks without charges, but OTF wasn't having it. They blamed NBA Youngboy's whole circle for setting Von up, for orchestrating what they saw as a hit. That death ignited a blood feud that's been playing out in diss tracks, social media warfare, and real-world violence ever since. The beef escalated in 2022 when Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab, got killed in Los Angeles. Federal prosecutors later charged 5 OTF members, including Durk's own brother, with murder for hire. They alleged that Lil Durk funded the hit, using OTF-linked credit cards to pay for flights and rental cars for the shooters. Durk got arrested in Florida in October 2024 on these charges, and he's been locked up ever since, facing potential life in prison, or even the death penalty if convicted. So yeah, this ain't just rap beef, this is federal case-level street war. By the time Youngboy launched his Massacre tour in September 2025, the beef was still hot even with Durk behind bars. Social media was buzzing with threats from OTF supporters saying they gonna pull up to shows, cause problems, get revenge for Von. Youngboy wasn't helping matters either, performing diss tracks aimed at Durk and OTF at his concerts, mocking Durk's incarceration during shows. On September 6th in Houston, he straight up dissed Durk on stage, telling the crowd that whole situation is old news, and he's focused on his kids and music, but still taking shots. That kind of taunting just fans the flames, gets both fan bases more riled up. The Chicago show cancellation was the biggest example of how this beef derailed the tour. September 24th was supposed to be NBA Youngboy's first Chicago performance in 5 years, and Chicago is Lil Durk's city, OTF territory through and through. The United Center announced on September 22nd, just 2 days before the show, that they canceling due to safety concerns. They didn't have to spell it out. Everybody knew it was about the beef. The venue had already implemented a strict no bags policy, not even allowing clear bags, trying to prevent weapons from getting in. But ultimately, they decided the risk was too high. Youngboy's mother, Shahonda Galden, went on Instagram expressing frustration, calling it unfair when her son is trying to move forward with his life. Meanwhile, King Von's sister, Kayla B, was celebrating the cancellation, calling it karma for her brother's death. Chicago rapper G Herbo, who's affiliated with OTF, actually spoke up saying it was sad that the show got canceled, that people should support young black men instead of perpetuating beef, but the damage was done. Thousands of fans who bought tickets, some traveling from out of state, got their plans ruined because of ongoing gang tensions. Atlanta had problems too. The first show on October 15th went fine. They even honored Youngboy for his anti-violence work, which is ironic given the whole situation. But the second Atlanta show on October 18th got canceled after his entourage had a clash with police at the VIP entrance. Again, this is in the same city where King Von got killed, so tensions were already high. Youngboy had performed I Hate Youngboy during that first show, a diss track that goes at Durk, Von, and other Atlanta rappers. That inflamed local fans and created an atmosphere where venue security felt they couldn't guarantee safety for a second night. Fans turned the cancellation into an outdoor party, setting up music and fireworks outside the stadium. But it was still another major stop derailed by the beef. Detroit got canceled too with less publicity. Another city too close to Chicago's sphere of influence, too risky given the OTF connections. Every cancellation meant millions in lost revenue, disappointed fans, and damage to Youngboy's reputation as a reliable touring artist. It wasn't his fault directly, but the beef he's entangled in made him a liability for major venues who couldn't risk the potential for violence. Where shows did go forward, security was intense. New Orleans deployed 400 plus officers, which we already talked about. They used drones, had armored vehicles on standby, created no parking zones around the venue. The no bags policy was enforced strictly. Metal detectors at every entrance, extra pat-downs. Police sources told local media they had intelligence that rival gang members planned to attend, specifically OTF affiliates looking to cause disruption. There was even a false shots fired alarm inside the venue that turned out to be nothing, but it showed how on edge everyone was. Birmingham announced additional security measures for their October 22nd show, extra patrols and coordination with local police to prevent any incidents. Every city that hosted a show had to go through this process of threat assessment and security upgrades, which cost money and resources that normally wouldn't be necessary for a concert. This is the reality of what happens when street beef intersects with commercial entertainment. Insurance companies probably charging venues extra premiums, security firms billing overtime, police departments straining their budgets. The violence and threats weren't just theoretical either. At the Kansas City show on September 21st, a 14-year-old fan assaulted a 66-year-old usher, sending him to the hospital. The attack wasn't directly related to the beef, but it happened in an atmosphere charged by aggressive energy from the ongoing rivalry. Early in the tour in Los Angeles, crowd fights broke out during the show, forcing pauses and leading to stricter bag ban policies at subsequent venues. These incidents, while not all connected to the Durk situation, fed into a narrative that Youngboy's tour was attracting violence and chaos. Social media amplified every threat and rumor. OTF supporters on Twitter were posting about pulling up to shows, making cryptic warnings about what might happen if Youngboy keeps dissing Durk while he's locked up. Youngboy fans fired back with their own threats, creating this toxic online environment that bled into real-world security concerns. Law enforcement had to monitor social media chatter as part of their threat assessment, treating posts as potential actionable intelligence. That's how serious it got. There was even an incident where a Lil Durk fan at a Youngboy show got beaten up by the crowd for yelling "Free Durk" during the performance. That video went viral, showing how fans on both sides were ready to get physical over this beef. It's proxy violence, regular people getting hurt because they choosing sides in a conflict between millionaire rappers. That's the dangerous part about how these beefs play out in 2025. It's not just the artists and their crews anymore. It's the fans feeling like they gotta represent by any means necessary. What made this tour security situation even more complex is that NBA Youngboy himself kept adding fuel. While he claimed in interviews that the beef is entertainment and he's focused on his music and family, he was still performing diss tracks about Durk and making comments on stage that got crowds hyped up. That created mixed messages. On one hand, he's trying to distance himself from the drama. On the other, he's actively keeping it alive through his performances. Security teams and venue operators had to plan for the worst while hoping for the best. The arrests during the tour were mostly peripheral stuff. That Kansas City teen got charged with felony assault. In New Orleans on October 20th, state troopers arrested 5 people in an ATV chase near the venue, seizing stolen guns and vehicles. Those arrests were part of the heightened law enforcement presence, officers looking for any suspicious activity in the area. New Orleans police even put out statements urging people to leave guns at home, reflecting broader anti-violence efforts amid the feud. The fact that they felt the need to make those public pleas shows how seriously they took the threat level. All of this security theater and actual security measures transformed what should have been a celebration of NBA Youngboy's return to touring into this tense, heavily policed experience. Fans had to arrive extra early to get through security lines. The atmosphere at shows was different, more aggressive and wary, instead of purely celebratory. Reviews of the tour mentioned the palpable tension in crowds, people constantly looking over their shoulders, security guards everywhere creating this prison yard vibe. That's not how concerts should feel, but that's what happens when a rap beef reaches this level of intensity. The broader implications go beyond just this tour. Other venues might be hesitant to book NBA Youngboy in the future because of these complications. Insurance and security costs could make it financially unfeasible. Artists associated with him might face similar scrutiny. It creates a chilling effect on artistic expression and freedom of movement. Some people argue it's over-policing of black artists, that the same level of security wouldn't be demanded for white rock acts or country singers, even if they had controversial histories. Others say it's necessary precautions given the documented violence connected to this specific beef. Either way, it's a mess that impacts everyone involved, from the artists to the fans to the venues to the communities hosting shows. Despite all the drama, the tour was commercially successful in terms of ticket sales where shows did happen, sold out arenas, millions in gross revenue, proving that Youngboy's fan base is loyal and willing to deal with the hassle. But the question remains whether this is sustainable. Can he continue touring if every stop requires this level of security coordination? Will venues eventually just say it's not worth the headache? And most importantly, will the beef ever actually end? Or will it keep casting this shadow over his career indefinitely? Those are the questions hanging over NBA Youngboy as he tries to move forward while this situation with Lil Durk remains unresolved. From beef to peace, Youngboy's redemption arc, and the future beyond the Durk drama. So after all that chaos, all them canceled shows and heavy police presence, you might be wondering where NBA Youngboy's head is at now. Because despite what the tour drama might suggest, Youngboy has actually been trying to distance himself from this whole Lil Durk beef situation for a minute now. We talking about a man who went from being locked up, facing serious federal time, to getting a presidential pardon, from being enemy number 1 in Chicago to receiving keys to cities and peace pledges. His transformation over the past couple years is real, and it's about more than just public relations. It's about him genuinely trying to evolve past the street drama that's defined so much of his career. Let's go back to May 2023, when Gilly the Kid brought both Youngboy and Lil Durk on his podcast at different times, trying to broker peace. Gilly was pushing for them to co-headline his Gilly Fest, show the youth that beef doesn't have to be forever. Youngboy's response was surprisingly positive. In December 2023, he went on Gilly's show and said the rivalry was purely for entertainment, and dropped a bombshell. He talks to Durk every 2 or 3 nights about music, not malice. Man said if they'd let him out of house arrest, he'd be willing to hit the stage with Durk at Gilly's festival. That's a huge shift from where they were at in 2022, trading diss tracks and threatening each other. DJ Academics amplified this in May 2023, announcing on his Twitch stream that beef is squashed. Lil Durk liked the tweet, and what appeared to be a fan account associated with Youngboy shared it too. Of course, you always gotta take social media reconciliations with a grain of salt. especially when money and streaming numbers are involved. Both artists benefit from keeping fans engaged, and squashing beef can be its own form of publicity, but the gestures seemed genuine at the time. By the time Youngboy's Massacre tour kicked off in September 2025, he was actively trying to pivot away from the beef narrative. During his Dallas show on September 2nd, he dedicated parts of his set to talking about peace and growth, deliberately avoiding Durk disses even when fans were chanting for them. Then in Houston on September 7th, he addressed the beef directly from the stage, telling the crowd, "That Durk shit, that's old news. I'm here for my kids, my music, and y'all, not that drama." He walked off stage mid-rant, laughing about how played out the whole thing has become. That's the kind of maturity you don't always see in hip-hop, especially from artists who built their brands on street authenticity and keeping it real. His album, Make America Slime Again, which dropped in July 2025, reflects this shift. It's a 30-track project featuring Playboi Carti, Mellow Rax, and others. And notably, it doesn't include direct shots at Lil Durk like his 2022 album I Hate Youngboy did. The focus is on fatherhood, resilience, building a legacy beyond the streets. Youngboy told Rolling Out in a July interview, "I got 11 kids now. Beef don't feed them. I'm building Slime Nation, not wars." That's a man who's had time to reflect on what actually matters. His transformation ain't just talk either. It's backed by action and life changes. NBA Youngboy is now a father to 11 children, and fatherhood has clearly shifted his priorities. Growing up in Baton Rouge's projects after his father got sentenced to 55 years, Youngboy had a rough start. He quit school at 15 to pursue rap full-time, was a father himself by 20, and spent years caught in cycles of legal troubles, house arrest, and isolation. But post-release from his most recent incarceration, he's embraced vulnerability in ways he didn't before. In Massa's liner notes, he dedicates tracks to healing my slime family, referencing substance abuse recovery and co-parenting efforts. A February 2025 interview with The Source revealed he's doing daily Bible study and family therapy sessions, crediting his fiancée Jaslyn Young for helping provide stability. Physically, he transformed too. Fans on Reddit noticed his workout gains during prison time, going from slim to muscular through calisthenics and proper meal prep. Spiritually, he's leaned into slime language as empowerment rather than aggression, even getting repent tattooed after receiving his presidential pardon. Speaking of which, let's talk about his legal journey because it's central to understanding his redemption arc. Youngboy's legal troubles date back to 2016, with arrests for attempted murder, though he was acquitted. But the charges kept coming: gun possession, prescription fraud, multiple violations. In December 2024, he got sentenced to 23 months federal time for felon in possession of a firearm and identity fraud charges out of Utah. He was looking at potentially 10 years if the case went to trial, so pleading guilty was the smart play. He served his time at FCI Talladega in Alabama, and because of time served during previous house arrest, his release date kept getting moved up. Initially scheduled for July 27, 2025, it shifted to April 26th due to good behavior. But he actually got out on March 24th, a month early, transferring to an Arizona halfway house for supervised reintegration. His camp was celebrating on social media, posting, "Ooh, my baby is back, homie." Then came the game changer. On May 28, 2025, President Donald Trump granted NBA Youngboy a full pardon, wiping his federal convictions clean. His attorney Drew Findling called it shocking, but affirming, saying the pardon allows Youngboy to reach his full potential without the restrictions of probation hanging over him. No more travel bans, reduced drug testing requirements, just 5 years of supervised release focused on staying out of trouble. Youngboy told XXL in June, "Jail broke chains, but pardon freed my mind." That's powerful, man. With his legal situation resolved, Youngboy started racking up honors and recognition that validate his growth. In September, Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas gave him the key to the city and declared September 21st NBA Youngboy Day for his anti-violence work. Then, in Atlanta, on October 15th, right during his tour stop, city officials presented him with a peace pledge on stage, honoring his contributions to hip-hop and his efforts in school gun violence prevention programs. He had donated $25,000 to San Francisco violence prevention initiatives in September, too. Representative Ingo Willis praised him as a catalyst for change, though there was some confusion because it was technically Fulton County presenting the honor, not the city of Atlanta proper, but still. The RIAA crowned him the rapper with the most platinum albums, 8 total, from 2015 to 2025. He won XXL's People's Champ Award in 2023. He got a Grammy nomination in 2022 for Best Melodic Rap Performance on Tyler, the Creator's Wusianemi. Grammy.com highlighted Massa as his most important work, noting his 34 Billboard chart entries as unmatched among his generation. BET wrote about his cultural resonance beyond the controversy. These aren't just participation trophies. These are legitimate acknowledgments from the industry that NBA Youngboy is more than his beefs and legal issues. His latest career moves show he's playing the long game now. Massa debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, proving his commercial viability even after everything he's been through. He dropped More Leaks in February, a compilation of pre-release tracks, and I Just Got a Lot on My Shoulders in December 2024, his final album with Motown Records. The Massa tour itself, produced by Live Nation with 45+ dates after expansions, is his first major arena headlining run. The production quality got praised in reviews, showing evolution from his earlier rawer performances to a more polished arena spectacle while maintaining that street energy fans love. Business-wise, he made waves in September by offering to buy Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records stake, 33.3% of the company. He launched Slime Nation, his own merch and philanthropy arm focused on giving back to communities affected by violence. These moves show he's thinking beyond just making music. He's trying to build an empire, create generational wealth for his 11 kids, leave a legacy that matters. But real talk, that March 2025 prison fight still lingers as a reminder that leaving beef behind completely might not be that simple. While incarcerated at FCI Talladega, Youngboy allegedly got into it with an OTF-affiliated inmate who yelled OTF to provoke him. According to Birdman's brother Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, Youngboy knocked the dude out clean with a two-piece punch. Guards broke it up and put Youngboy in solitary for a couple days, though it didn't affect his release date. Even behind bars, away from the streets, away from the industry, the beef found him. That's how deep these affiliations run. The question everybody's asking now is whether the beef is truly dead or just dormant. Lil Durk is locked up awaiting trial in January 2026 on those murder-for-hire charges, facing life in prison or the death penalty. He can't respond to anything Youngboy says or does right now, but his affiliates are still out there, OTF members still repping their crew, still watching Youngboy's moves, and Youngboy's 4KT affiliates are the same way, loyal to the point of violence if necessary. So even if the principals want peace, can they actually control their crews? Looking ahead, Youngboy's got potential festival slots lined up for 2026, more business opportunities with Slime Nation, and the possibility of that Rockefeller acquisition if it goes through. He's talking about mentoring young artists from Baton Rouge, giving them paths forward that don't involve the same mistakes he made. That's legacy building right there. Whether the beef with Lil Durk ever gets officially squashed or just fades into irrelevance as both men move forward with their lives remains to be seen. But NBA Youngboy's arc from beef's chaos to beef's closure shows that even in the darkest moments, redemption is possible if you're willing to do the work. Yo fam, we have reached the end of this video. Thanks for watching. To get hit with more of such content, be sure to click on the card.